Hey everybody, it's Dr. Fletcher. Let's talk about inpatient reference lab formularies. Hold up a second. A reference laboratory formulary? Why not? Pharmacy has formularies. We should too. I mean, look at pharmacy. It really is an identical situation. The laboratory, pharmacy, there are endless drugs available at endless doses from different vendors. How do we know that they're getting the drugs from a quality vendor and it's safe and clinically useful? And how do we know we're getting the best pricing? And so, it's really a patient safety and quality issue, and in addition to a cost issue, that drives pharmacy formularies. And everything I just said applies to laboratories. Same thing. Endless numbers of lab tests, countless laboratory vendors. How do we make sure that the laboratory tests we're getting are clinically useful, they're cost effective, and they're safe to be used on our patients? And so we really should have a reference laboratory formulary. One of the first things I did when I started the laboratory stewardship committee, looking at all these different issues, we decided we needed a formulary. And I'm not sure if I took it upon myself. I think I was voluntold. Congratulations. Why don't you go make us a formulary? One day I sat in a conference room with a big legal pad and a pen, and I thought, I'm going to sit here and write out formulary. And very quickly it occurred to me, I have no clue what is supposed to be on a formulary. Where do you even start? What I'll do is I'll show you where I started ultimately. Maybe pull up one slide, and this is a slide I have used so many times over the past few years in all sorts of presentations, and it seems like it works pretty well. So what I decided to do was I simply got a list of everything that was currently built as an orderable or clickable order in the inpatient EMR. And it turns out that list was about 1,100 tests. So we had 1,100 tests built in the EMR. So effectively, our formulary had 1,100 tests on day one. And I decided, let's look at those 1,100 tests. By the way, there were 1,100 tests because how did we populate the EMR? We basically dumped in the entire LIS database. Nobody really vetted them. Any case, the first thing I did is I looked at the 1,100 tests and I thought, how many of these have we even ordered over the past calendar year? And it turns out of the 1,100 tests we had in the EMR, only about 800 had actually been ordered on the inpatient side over the past 12 months. Okay, so let's first step of the formulary. If we haven't ordered it in the past 12 months, let's take that off the list because chances are we're not going to order it in the next 12 months. So we went from 1,100 tests to 800 tests. Now, we decided to go one step further. What if we haven't ordered that test at least once a quarter or at least four times per year? Maybe we could take that off the formulary because we just don't use it very often and it seems like nobody's going to miss it. So we did that. So we went from 800 down to 400 tests. So now we've got the 400 tests that we've ordered at least four times a year or once a quarter over the past year. Looking at the 400 tests, however, now we start to see problem tests. So I'll pick on my old friend RBC folate. My medical staff ordered it 386 times in the previous calendar year. So yeah, okay, they were ordering a lot, but it's the wrong test. So what we did is we went through those 400 tests and started taking out these incorrect tests like RBC folate. That was just an ordering error. Um, Going through these 400 tests, we leaned on all sorts of resources, choosing wisely. That's a good place to start. By the way, I'll post a video just on choosing wisely, so you can see the list of laboratory tests that they have recommendations on. We started looking at obsolete tests, take those out. Tests that, the things that we just know are incorrect tests, no matter how often they're ordered. We end up whittling that list down from 400 to about 200. Specifically, it was 196. It's interesting. I've seen formularies made in different hospitals, and everybody seems to end up with around 200. I guess it could be more or less depending on where you are, but 200 a lot of times seems to be where everybody arrives. So now we've got the 200 tests. We went from 1,100, and again, first step was take out everything that you haven't ordered in the past calendar year. Uh, We went down to 800. From 800, we went down to 400 by taking out everything that was ordered less than once per quarter. Once we had the 400, we started taking out those obsolete tests, um, from choosing wisely and all these other recommendations, and also based on our laboratory experience to end up with 200 tests. And that's the first steps we took in creating or taking a shot at a test formulary. Um, there was obviously a lot more steps along the way, but rather than making a really long video, I just kind of wanted to share with you the building blocks for where we started. I'll post another video on how you actually implement a test formulary, because obviously you have to have a way for physicians to order non-formulary tests. Any case, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, drop a post or a comment. I'd love to hear if you use this method of developing a test formulary. If not, how did you come up with a test formulary? There's more than one way to do this. Thanks for your time and good luck with all of your laboratory stewardship initiatives.